What's going on, guys? I wanted to talk to you a little bit about, should barbers take payment up front? Some of you might agree with me with my policy, with how I do things. Some of you might not. A lot of barbers I hear, they're like, oh, I need a prepayment. I don't take their appointment serious unless they prepay. From my experience, what I learned is you gotta know your clientele. Know who to do that with. First of all, with new customers, I always give them a chance. Some people like to prepay. You're already paying on the app. They're like, okay, I might as well pay online with my card, so people are cool with that. Let's say you get a new customer, they pay cash. You give them that chance to show up, to see what kind of client they are, And of course it is hard, like it's someone you don't know, they didn't pay for your time. Should you tell that walk-in that you can't get them that day or at that time because you have somebody coming in and you're not even sure if they're gonna come in? Me, I cut fast enough where I'm okay. I can always squeeze walk-ins in. Normally I do hourly appointments, and normally it doesn't take me a full hour to cut somebody's hair. I have that extra half hour. If I can bang out an appointment in a half hour, I can squeeze in a walk-in for every appointment that I have with. If it's a new customer, yeah, of course I'll take their appointment serious. At the same time, if it's not a prepayment, I'll squeeze that walk-in and I'll still take his appointment serious. He's next in the chair after, but I might be 10-15 minutes late for his appointment. But back to if they should prepay or not. Now, if I have a new customer and he shows up on time or he shows up early, he pays me double what the haircut is, and then he starts coming every week or every 2 weeks, someone like that, especially if they're consistent with coming on time and consistent with tipping me well, why would he require a prepayment if he's that kind of clientele? That's what I mean by knowing your clientele, because you'll get to know a new customer and you see this guy just likes to play games. He just likes to play with your time. It's somebody's first appointment with you. They didn't prepay. You call them 5 minutes after appointment like, hey, it's Teo from Hair Wizards Barbershop, just calling to see where you're at. Your appointment was 5 minutes ago. Oh, I can't make it, man, I'm sorry. See, now that, he had no intention of calling you. He probably only answered because he didn't know it was you. So in a case like that, yeah, okay, now you gotta explain to them, okay, I locked you in for this time. I said no to a walk-in. I reserved this time and somebody else could have wanted it, but they didn't see that appointment available because you took it. Now, this is where you have to tell them, look, from now on, you have to give me a non-refundable prepayment so that I get paid regardless if you come or not. He put that on himself. I just had a client, I came in on my day off to cut him, and he paid for the haircut yesterday, looked me out today for coming in on my day off, but he's the type of client, he comes every 2 weeks, he prepays by choice, it's not required, and he always tips well, always comes on time or early. So why do that to a person like that? This game is about building relationships. Not everybody's gonna be treated the same because everybody's different. Everybody has different personalities. So what I do in a situation like that, he doesn't like to play with my time. He's good money. Why treat him like he's just somebody that doesn't take appointments serious and doesn't show up, and he's like, oh yeah, I was gonna call you. Well, it's 15 minutes after your appointment. When were you planning on calling me? It's a little too late for that. Clients, especially consistent people that come every week, every 2 weeks, they like routine. And when you try to change their routine, I noticed that they don't like that. So even when I switched from calling and texting me to make an appointment to, yo, I just started using this app and I need you guys to start booking on the app. A lot of my clients that I've been cutting for years before this app thing, they're like, pay on an app? Like, what do you mean? I'm used to just calling you up and then you locking me in and I show up, I had to get them used to that. There's some things they just have to adjust to change. That's one of those things. If I had a client that, he comes every week and he's always on time and he's been doing this for years and he tips well, why do that to that guy? That's another person that I'm not gonna make him prepay, but then if you have the other customers that do play with your time, that's the best way to do it. And if they don't want to do that prepayment, they're not worth it. They were just gonna be a headache in the long run, So just know your clientele, know who to do that with, give people a chance, have a policy. You could do a warning, yeah, normally I would require the prepayment, that's non-refundable, but I'm gonna give you this chance. Please respect my time, make it to your appointments. If you can't make it or if you're running late, please let me know, things like that. Yeah, I do have clients that have to do the prepayment and it always works out for me and it always makes sense to do it, and I'm always glad that I did it after they had those red flags. Just treat people accordingly, Some people you have to do that way and some people you don't. Some people find it almost disrespectful if you tell them, oh, you gotta prepay, especially because it's other customers' mistake. Other customers like to play with your time, so now you're gonna treat this customer that doesn't play with your time as if he does play with your time. It's not fair. So just treat people, the way that they present themselves. If they're gonna be a person that doesn't show up on time and doesn't respect your time, you gotta treat them as such. Just know your clientele, that's all.